Hello, everyone. TGIF. This is Gil Lowe, National Partner Manager for Veeam Software, and I'm here with the coach, Jim Tedesco, Senior Vice President of Worldwide Renewal and Customer Success. Jim, how are you today on this great Friday?
Oh, I'm doing great, Gil. Thanks for having me on the show. I'm so excited.
Yeah, man, it's always good to see you. I mean, my memories go back to when I first met you in a Patty Havens new hire training back in our days at CA, and you came in with your granite stories and so many more stories that I learned over my career, and here we are today. How have you enjoyed your 5+ years of your Veeam Voyage so far? And I think we started around the same month, right? So
Yeah. So I guess I'm coming up on the 6 year anniversary just in 2 months from now. But hey, listen, it's been a great couple of years. You see a company that grew from a small 2,000, maybe not even 2,000 employees to well over 4,300 employees today. So multiple, I mean, doubled, more than doubled, really in the 5 years. From a revenue standpoint, I think we've quadrupled or even more than that, right, in the last 5 years. And probably one of the first companies or the fastest company to hit that $1 billion mark out of all of the organically grown companies out there. So, hey, it's been exciting. But the most important thing about, or the most sensitive thing to me personally is the people. I mean, what a great bunch of people. I mean, I think you'll admit, right? I mean,
yeah, I love the Veeam culture. The Veeam culture is amazing.
Yeah, so great people. Yeah, so it's been.
So I guess that, Jim, what really strikes me, you've done many different roles. One of the newest tasks you've taken on internally at Veeam is you become that coach and that coach of Veeam, right? And I think back to like when you were running a team, like I said back in the day. Don Balducci, at Computer Socials was kind of the coach, but now you stepped into that role and you run a podcast. You're up to what, 34 episodes and running of an internal podcast called Ask the Coach. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, listen, it's a pleasure to do it. I mean, originally when I first started answering questions for new hires and folks around the company, it was on email. And HR came to me one day and said, hey, listen, you got a bunch of millennials. They don't really react well to emails and internal, postings. Why don't you just do a quick video? Take their questions, do a quick video feed, and that'll keep their attention, and they'll love it. And so that's how we started. And it was a mail-in subscription, ask questions, and I would answer them on a video. And now it's evolved. I mean, we have guests that join the program. We've got interviews going on with folks outside the company. It's really been a delight. It's been a lot of fun. And I'll tell you that, with 4,300 people around the world, and this gets broadcast to all of them, the amount of folks that just respond and send me emails on the side and thanking me for answering specific questions, I mean, it's great. It's a really good way of being able to grab employees from all over the company and get them on the same page. So it's been a delight.
So I guess what we're here today to talk about is like really, once a customer or a small business or any type of entity, a segment out there in the world buys Veeam, we really want to make sure they can maximize their Veeam investment, right? So if I'm a new or an existing, customer, how do I really maximize my investment with Veeam?
Well, I mean, so you realize that when you say invest in Veeam, you're talking about buying licenses, right? And so our licenses come in two flavors. So we've got perpetual licenses, meaning you buy that license for a specific number of sockets within your environment, and you're able to use that software forever. I mean, it's perpetual-based license, right? And then you have subscription, and subscription-based licensing is really where everybody's going in the industry. I think most companies prefer it. It's a little less expensive than the larger purchase of a perpetual license, but it only works for the time period that you buy the subscription. So if you bought a 3-year subscription, the product would work for that 3 years. And then after the 3 years, you'd either have to buy another subscription or you would lose access to that capability. Now, so put that to the side for a second. The way we do it is on the perpetual-based licensing, we've got 3 different flavors, if you will. So one flavor is standard, the next flavor is enterprise, and the next flavor is enterprise plus. And depending on which of those that you need in terms of functionality, and they each have different features, that's what you would invest in. If you buy a subscription, you get Enterprise Plus. I mean, you get the full-on version. The other thing is with the perpetual license, you either buy the standard maintenance, which is 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. in your local geography, so technical support. But if you buy the subscription, it comes with 24/7 by 365 production support. So you get it as a standard. So The subscription is less expensive than buying a perpetual license. You get the highest version and you get the 24/7, but then again, it stops working after the end of the term. So that's the difference. So when you're investing in Veeam, you have to kind of make a conscious decision. A lot of companies are looking at their operations expense and their capital expense. And so from a perpetual standpoint, they would capitalize that expense and they would buy it from a perpetual standpoint. From a subscription standpoint, they would treat it really as an expense and use OpEx as a way of funding that. And so it depends on your accounting method and how you want to access the licenses, but we do it both ways. And I will tell you, the subscription licenses are exploding in terms of the number of customers buying it. Again, less expensive, and it's for that term. So it's a great way of practically budgeting, right? Well, I mean, so here's the thing, right? So from a perpetual standpoint, you buy the product and it comes with 1 year of support built in. I mean, you get it no matter what, right? At the end of the year, it's up to you to go ahead and renew that maintenance. So become active on maintenance is what we call it. And so you think that through and you say, so, well, why do I need maintenance? Like, what do I get for it? Well, there's a couple of things that you get. The first is you get hot fixes, patches, updates, and all of the new releases for free. So we went from version 9.5 to version 10 earlier this year. And those customers who are on active support were able to get version 10.0 for free, absolutely free. Now, if you went and bought that, just as a standard purchase, it would have been more expensive than 9.5, the previous version. So those customers who had the active maintenance benefited. The other is the experienced technical support staff. And I will tell you, we've got the best technical support in the industry. And we've done lots of surveys, lots of outside analysts that looked at the way we approach it. I'll give you an example. When you call our tech support, you don't get an operator who takes your name and phone number and then puts you on the list and someone calls you back. When someone answers the phone, it's usually within 90 seconds. The person who answers the phone is the person assigned to your open issue. That's the person who you explain who you are and what the challenge is, and they're the ones who try and fix it. 80% of the time, that person who you called initially is the person who solves your tech support issue. I mean, it's just incredible the way we do it. Now, once the tech support issue is closed out, we send out a survey to customers. We're in the 95 and 96% range of customers, just accolades on our tech support. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing is the license management. And as you know, most enterprises, most large commercial companies, state, local, education, when they buy licenses, they have departments or divisions or remote locations, and they have multiple people who are responsible for the management of their backup infrastructure, their disaster recovery, the replication of their files to the cloud, and who's responsible for bringing that back. So from a licensing management standpoint, once you purchase our software, you have access to a portal and you can divide up your licenses, assign them to administrators, and they're able to utilize those licenses, recast them for VMware or Microsoft, depending on your hypervisor, and you're able to manage them completely separate than another administrator. So it becomes really flexible. Customers absolutely love it. We give them the access to that. They could recut their own license files, and no other vendor out there does that. It's incredible. So
I think that's huge though too, because people need to realize that licensing portal, the license management portal, is something you can use anytime you want, middle of the night, whenever you need it, to manage these licenses. And I think that's huge. So I will ask the audience in the world: has anyone used this license management portal? Have you seen that? So that's kind of a question to everyone.
So if you can put in a comment into the comment section below, we certainly address that. The other thing to realize is that most customers are doing some sort of a refresh or a data center refresh, in which case they have different types of hardware, different locations, different infrastructure, and having access to that portal yourself, having the flexibility to do that on a weekend, completely independent of the vendor, is huge. So it really, customers rave about it all the time. And by the way, if you don't have active support, all three of these go away. So, and I'll tell you, we had probably a 93% renewal rate. And then you say to yourself, well, 7% of your customers don't renew. It's a weird number, right? So 93% renew. the 7% that don't renew, it's not that they're not renewing, it's because they're consolidating their environment. Maybe they bought a really big, strong server, and instead of needing 20 sockets, they only need 15 sockets. And what they do is they renew for those 15 sockets. We take those 5 sockets as if we lost them, and that's what goes into the reporting. But when I go back and I go through it and I review it, we never lose to the competition. I mean, it is rare that someone from a different brand has better functionality than us, and a customer's going to switch. Happens very, very infrequently, if ever. And the other thing you got to realize is you have lots of acquisitions and mergers, big banks, insurance companies, that kind of thing. So there's always some sort of a rationalization of their licenses, and that really accounts for the 7%. I keep on telling my boss, hey, let's take that out. It's 100% renewal rate.
Right. I like that. That's a great way to come back at it. So Jim, are there any programs right now that are running for customers, in these interesting times? Let's say I'm a small business, and I'm like, okay, I want to still protect my environment, but maybe I let my maintenance, my support lapse or something of that nature. Are there any nice support programs going on this quarter?
Yeah, I mean, so that happens. I mean, maybe we're not the priority, and maybe with what's happening in the social economic times today, that there are other things that customers are really focused on, and especially when you're having your employees working from home and people remote, the internal infrastructure sometimes get overlooked. And so we're absolutely providing a we want you back incentive to customers this quarter. So if you're expired for more than 6 months, we'll be able to write a contract to have you come back. We'll waive that back maintenance fee. So the extra 6 months or more, a year, 2 years, whatever it is, we'll write that off, and you start as if you started today. Now you'll have to pay the 25% reinstatement fee. That's part of the process. But we waive that back maintenance, and it could save you practically half. So if you are a customer, perpetual license, and you're not on active support, give us a call. Let us know, and let's see if we could work out a process for you to come back. We want you back. We want you back, right? So that's one of the things. The other thing is, for those customers who are interested in a 24/7, I mentioned that production support, because most customers, believe it or not, go with standard. But the problem is, you're doing your upgrades, you're doing your consolidation of your infrastructure, you're doing your refresh, if you will, on weekends. That's when you want technical support, not on Monday morning. You want to test it over the weekend. And so with the 24/7, 365, that production support gives you continuous access to technical support. It's not just 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. in your local time zone. So we're asking customers that if you're interested in doing a multi-year commitment, so committing to 3 years of maintenance up front, we'll give you the 24/7 for free as an upgrade. We'll give that to you, and it's I think it's a 22 or 23% savings. Okay. So there's some really good incentives for those customers who are interested in that. So let us know, and we'll work it out for you.
Yeah, I'll go back to the audience. So if you've ever purchased Veeam and you've renewed, or you've moved licenses around, comment below and let us know what your thoughts are on really protecting. Maybe you've upgraded, and we've moved to version 10 recently, and you've upgraded to the version, and you already knew you were under support, so it was a free upgrade. So that's a great benefit, like you talked about earlier, Jim. So so many ways to maximize your investment. I will want to ask you another question, Jim. So you're not only just over worldwide renewals, but you also run our customer success team within Veeam, right? How does this customer success team within Veeam help with customers after they purchase Veeam? What do they do with customers? How does that work?
Well, I mean, so the term customer success now is really synonymous with a vendor providing proactive support to customers, right? So in the case where you're dealing with the renewals department, you're really talking about your contracts, you're talking about your maintenance and being current on your maintenance. And that really is kind of old school. All of our teams are being now promoted into this customer success type position. And really what that means is, rather than waiting for you to call us and ask us questions about your contract and how do you buy the maintenance, we reach out to you proactively 3 months, 4 months, 6 months prior to the end of your contract. And we do things like we talk to you about your deployment. We talk to you about your usage. We talk to you about the features that maybe you aren't familiar with, and even do what we call health checks. Now, this is interesting, because what we do is we'll schedule a health check with the customer. which means we get one of our pre-sales technical support engineers on a WebEx with the customer, and we'll actually dial into their system and take a look at how they have Veeam configured. And then what we'll do is we'll talk about best practices, and we'll show them reports as to how they could customize it and streamline it to get better access to their data, better replication capabilities, better access to the cloud, faster. I mean, listen, our technical support folks are gold standard, like experts in the industry. And we wouldn't expect a customer to have that much knowledge unless they go through our certification trainings, which we highly recommend. But in the case where you don't have certified engineers on staff, having someone from Veeam do a health check and kind of look at your infrastructure and give you some pointers. We don't do it for you. It's up to you or your reseller of choice to come in and do some services for you to help you. But being able to show you the reporting and areas of improvement, customers love that. So customer success is really proactively reaching out to customers, reviewing their infrastructure, reviewing their strategy around disaster recovery, and all of the details around their data consumption. That makes customers feel really happy. It's not about the renewal, it's really about their usage. And once customers realize that when we call, it's to help them, it's a totally different relationship. And so the customer success team is really, has been a blast. I talk to customers, big banks, insurance companies, manufacturers worldwide, and I get such a kick out of learning about the way they've deployed Veeam and how it's helping them. And in the cases where, God forbid, there was a down VM where they had to recover very quickly, those stories, and they tell me how Veeam saved them, that really gets me going. And
that's why we're here. That's why we're here, Jim, is we really want to help people to go beyond its regular backup. But if you need the data, you need file, you need to move data to the cloud or move data to another secondary site, we're here for you, right? I mean, and I'm glad that you're able to go back in and talk to those customers and hear those stories, because that's our lifeblood, right? And if you're on the line right now worldwide and you have a story you've shared where Veeam saved your day or saved the data that you've had, or recovered a file, a database file, or whatever it may be, or an email for litigation, give it, put a comment down below. Let us know, because we're always, really want to know about any kind of stories. Veeam on our website has plenty of customer success stories that you can all look at. But Jim, you and your team on front lines. My team, we're helping people understand the value, and then you come back behind the scenes and you help them maximize the value, and then help them learn more. Like you said, some customers just use us for backup, some for replication, but they might not know that we monitor their whole infrastructure with our backup solution, right? They might not know that you can use data labs to use more data within your backup data to really accelerate the business. So I think that's 100% a great feature, and I'm glad that you're able to be on and tell us more about that, right?
I'll tell you that the number one thing we hear over and over again, because we ask customers what features they like, what capabilities they're using, and it's the old adage, right? I mean, even think about your Office products, right? Word or Excel or whatever it is, you probably use a small percentage of the functionalities. I mean, I'm not sure if you're doing pivot tables every single day, but you're probably adding and subtracting pretty easily with columns on Excel, right? So you're probably using a small portion of the capabilities of the product. And it's true for Veeam. When someone implements Veeam, the number one reason they're implementing Veeam is to do a backup of the virtualized environment, have it housed somewhere within their environment for instant VM recovery. I mean, that's the number one feature. But there's a feature called Sure Backup, and Sure Backup gives you the ability to take your backup, test it in kind of a sandbox environment,
right? And
then send you an email that says that, hey, we did the backup, we tested the backup against your applications, we tested it against your infrastructure, and it's 100% available for you in the event that you need it. And I mean, think about it. You wake up in the morning, you get to work, and there's an email that says that your backup was not only backed up correctly, but tested and is available to you. I mean, who wouldn't want to have that? But you know what? No one uses it because it's a feature that they may not be familiar with, or a feature they haven't been comfortable with implementing. And that's one of the things that we like to do with our customer success team, is to show them that there's so much more in the product that you may not be using. And by the way, no other vendor does that. I mean, that's something that it's kind of the secret sauce. I wish more customers were using it. So Sure Backup, take a look at it.
Take a look at that. So I got some feedback from Anders. He says on the line, hello, you need the support renewals for the upgrades and hotfixes, but need the support to use Veeam or set up the solution because it's easy to set up the solution and build jobs, and it's also easy to upgrade. I can just say, Veeam, keep up the good work, and remember to stay safe.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew.
Hey, by the way, one of the things I keep on, I always say, customers will come to me and say, hey, Jim, like, you want me to buy the renewal, but the product works. The product just works. It's such great technology. I said, well, listen, are you an expert at every single piece of hardware and software in your infrastructure?
No.
And if not, then use Veeam as that person that you're going to call if there's a problem with the infrastructure and you can't get the backup to work. And it might be an infrastructure, it might be a challenge with how you set up your hardware, how you deployed it, how you configured it. We'll figure that out. I mean, we'll be able to tell just based on your log files if it's a Veeam problem or if it's a configuration environmental problem. And having an expert be able to do that for you in a matter of minutes and come back and say, here's the problem. And you know what? We've got a great relationship with that particular vendor. Stay on the line. Let's call them together and let's figure this out together. I mean, that type of concierge service isn't readily available with other vendors, and we'd love to do it. So it's definitely worth the money.
I actually want to portray that too. For example, I had my sump pump go out, and then my backup sump pump that was supposed to come in, it didn't work. And come to find out, I called a plumber, and he came in and he said, you know what, you have a backup sump pump that would cover only 1 to 2 bedrooms. You have 4 bathrooms. And I'm like, okay, I guess I didn't know that. But he was able to come in and do it in 15 minutes, but I had to get someone in who is an expert. So same thing with Veeam, you need to have that expert to come in just in case your backup sump pump goes out. So you just never know what happens, right? So what's next for you, Jim? I mean, you're doing so much within Veeam. You wake up every day within to learn about the renewal business and how we can maximize customers' investments. You do the Ask the Coach. You're learning so much internally within Veeam. What's next for you? Any things on the horizon that you can share?
Probably some things I couldn't share, but you know what? There's no script. I mean, anybody in their career, I mean, if they say I hope to be this or I want to be this, it's not what you want to be. It's who you want to be, right? And my philosophy is, who do I want to be? I want to be a loving father, a great husband, a great son, daughter, relative, brother, sister, that kind of thing. Like, who do I want to be? I want to be someone who can help, who could enamor and provide support and enthusiastically support people to do their best. And I ask my teams all around the world every single day, just do your very best every single day. And don't look at me as your boss. Look at me as someone who could help you take the roadblocks out of your way so you could do your job more efficiently. So it's not about me and my career. It's really about my team and the success of Veeam and our ability to help customers with being able to access their data and to be able to restore it if there's an issue. And being part of the executive management team, it's a thrill to be looking at the product's evolution in the next 3 and 5 years and what's coming out. It's really a thrill to be able to give inline direction as to how we should go to market differently. So I'm having the time of my life. It's the best.
And that's what I mean. You've adapted to so many different changes throughout your career and roles, and you've definitely, I would say move up the ladder, but you put your team first, and that puts you up to where you need to be to help so many people. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
So I do want to. So tell me something else. So Veeam was a couple weeks ago. Veeam 2020, Veeam Virtual. We want to remind everybody that it's still up and running live, right? I know we had Keith Urban and the great concert, but there's a lot of information in there that's on demand that you can go view today. So what was your favorite session? You can't say yours.
It's funny. I was in and out of probably 20 different sessions. We just came out with version 10, and version 10 has this instant VM recovery capability that is so fast. It is near immediate. And if you take a look at that functionality on version 10 and really study it, you'll be so excited about version 10 and what it does now. NAS backup is really exciting, and how we could provide that within your backup infrastructure. So, again, I was probably peppered with a lot of the functionality of version 10 over a year ago, and finally seeing it out in production I will tell you that it was probably one of our most successful VMONs. The amount of customer participation at VMON, was triple our normal in-person event. The accolades, just the flexibility of customers being able to view a session. They had a meeting, come back and view another session.
Yes.
To them, it was really, really successful. So, I mean, we do want to do more of that in the future and have that as an avenue for those folks who can't travel. But when the restrictions level off and the local governments and facilities are available to us, we do hope to have another VMON in person and bring our customers in, if nothing else, to reward them and to thank them for being customers and really, really have them have fun at a traditional Veeam party. But these online events, I will tell you that I think there's going to be a hybrid going forward because customers absolutely love them. I think they're demanding that.
Yeah, we just did a wine tasting event, a couple of wine tasting events this week. It was very interesting. You know, we talked about our Veeam backup for Office 365, even more enhanced team support. We talked about Veeam availability to orchestrate around disaster recovery planning, automated disaster recovery planning, and then we, of course, tasted some different wines from across the world. So you just never know what you're going to get these days, and there's most
real quick, because that brings me to a point. We did a customer success event. It was a chocolate tasting event. Now we did this probably about a month. It was probably early May, so it wasn't quite as hot, right? And we only did the East Coast, and it was but it was oversold out. We actually sent chocolate, a big variety pack of different chocolates, to customers' houses.
That's my guilty pleasure, chocolate. I don't have it in the house right now. But
and we had the representative from the manufacturer of that chocolate, that specific chocolate. It was a Mexican chocolate that was ground with manual tools. It wasn't a chocolate that goes through the machines and so different consistency. And chili pepper and vanilla and coffee flavored and all different flavors in it. So there was a variety pack. And in the package, it said, hey, pair this one with this particular type of wine, pair this one with this type of beer, pair this one with this type of cheese. And so we had pairings, and we asked the customers to set that up. And then when she got on, she started talking about the chocolate, and then they started tasting it in these pairings. It was one of the best events I've ever attended. I love that. I was like, this is fantastic. Customers rated.
That's really nice.
Yeah, that was great. That was great.
I'll get the details from you about that. So, okay, we're almost at time. So I will want to talk about our next LinkedIn Live event that's coming up this Monday with Jason Buffington, Industry Insights. So really the changing world of compliance. So he will be on at 12 p.m. Eastern on LinkedIn Live. Join us then. And Jim, you are off the green seat. I appreciate you taking time today. It was great to learn about how to maximize your Veeam's customer investments for sure.
Yeah, great. Gil, thank you very much. And customers, remember, get on your active maintenance. And if you're expired, let us know and we'll help you out.
Perfect. Thanks, TGIF. Thanks, everybody.
Have a great day. Bye now.
Thanks. Bye.